It is Monday, August 12th. That's right. It is the middle of August already. I know I always comment about how fast the time goes by, but it really does. So, yeah, here we are. And I hope you all are doing well. It is a beautiful sunny morning here in Arizona. And I am coming off of a productive weekend and a bit of a restful weekend and feeling good about that. So first of all, I want to apologize to all of my art beater friends. I missed last week, but I have a good reason. When we left Bead Fest on Saturday the 2nd, there was a lot of storm activity coming through Pennsylvania. And so, yeah, I got stuck. I got stuck in Philadelphia for 2 days. There were a ton of flights that were canceled. And unfortunately, mine was one of them. So I was holed up in a couple different hotels. My flights were canceled multiple times. And I had no suitcase. It was crazy. So I'm just so happy to be back. And I completely lost 2 days of my life. I'll never get that time back. But Bead Fest was amazing. So if you all missed out on the activity that went down while we were there, you can go back and watch. So go to the homepage on artbeads.com and check out the Bead Fest section, and you'll be able to see all the videos and all the fun that we had. So yeah, it was a fun time. It was great. And there's a lot of it that's recorded. There are a few things that happened and will stay at Bead Fest. So what happens at Bead Fest stays at Bead Fest. Good morning, Joan from Phoenix. Good morning, Beverly. Hi, Santa Barbara girl. Yes, we had a great time at the show, and yeah, it was really fun hanging out with the design team. We had a booth and we did a workshop. I did a fun project making a bracelet, and gosh, we had a great time. So it still feels like I'm coming down off of that high a little bit, but the fact that I was in Philly unexpectedly and without a lot of way to do anything, that kind of buzzkilled a little bit of it, but it's back. Like, I'm still feeling good about that trip, and it was such a good time. So go back and watch those videos. They're all available for you. This is Designing with Deb. I'm Deb Floros, and you are watching, hopefully, at artbeads.com/live. That is the best place for you to watch this show. And hello, Eric. And you can do all kinds of things in this interactive forum. You can comment, you can chitty chat with us, with me, the team. And you can show the love by the little hearts. Thank you. I see those hearts. And you can shop the show. So if you want to click over and see what's in the shopping bag, you can see everything that's in the show today. There will also be links to all of the fun things that I've got for you today. Thank you guys for welcoming me back. Hi, Zakaya from Michigan. So glad you guys are here. And one other thing that was really cool about Bead Fest is we got to meet some of you, and that made our hearts sing. We had so many folks stop by. We had the folks that took the workshop. So seeing you art beaters in person really just was extra special. That really made the whole thing. So yeah. So don't forget to check out the shopping bag as we do the show today. And if you're watching on August 12th, today is the last day of a flash sale. So I looked up this flash sale yesterday. It's up to 60% off select items. I was in there looking around. There's some great deals, you guys. So if you're checking out the things in the show, you can also check out what's on sale today. The sale is through the end of the day, so don't miss out on the deals. So let's see. Annette says, welcome back. Thank you so much. Beverly says, good morning. And Diane says, excited to learn more. Yeah, so thank you guys for being here. I have a fun show today. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with a tool called a tying station. I believe that Sarah Lovecraft has shared a project on one of her lives with this tool. This tool for me is pretty game changing. So I never really enjoyed macrame because I didn't really have a good way to do it. Like, I know you can use like a clipboard and you can use your workspace, and that may be great for everybody or others. But for me, it was not good. So it made it not enjoyable, not fun. But the tying station, made it like what I want to do. I want to sit and macrame all day long because I love how this tool works and it's great for this kind of a project. So, and by the way, I'm not just saying that because I've got it in the show today. It seriously is one of my favorite things and I want to share it with you today. Let's see, before I flip my camera around, Carol Ann says, howdy from Southern New Jersey. Tina says, glad you made it back safe. Thank you. And Candace says, always wanted to learn this technique. Well, great. We're going to do very, very, very simple projects today, but they're really fun. So I'm flipping and we will get people. All right. So in front of me, I have a Beadalon Tying Station. So if you pick one of these up, this is what you get. You get this tool and you get an add-on piece that you might need to use in some circumstances. Now the tool has two screw-off ends where you attach your cording. You have a way to measure the length of your project along the side. You've got another screw-off piece down at the bottom, and these can move up and down based on the size of the project that you are working on. And this is going to be a little ambitious for us to do in camera with comments at the bottom. So I promise you I'll do my best today and see if you guys can get a good view of what this tool is about and this project. So I dig the whole micro-macrame concept. So macrame is great. I love macrame with all kinds of sizes of cording and that kind of thing. But I really dig the way that small, small cording looks. I need a sip of coffee, guys. 1 second. Okay, better. So this is small cording. And it is also seed beads. So you can't really do this with kind of your standard size hemp cord or some of the other large cording that you might use for macrame. And macrame is great in all ways. And this tying station works with different size cording, but I really dig this look. So I'm always on the hunt for a cord that works well for a project like this. This is a little earring piece. I made a couple of them. I love this beautiful, sort of detailed, little nuanced, fun, fringy pair of earrings. I don't have the ear wires on them yet, but that's one sample I made. And here's the cord. Let me tell you a little bit about the cord. All of the cord I'm using today is S-Lon cord. Excuse me. And it is number 18. So it's a twisted nylon cord, and this is a beautiful neon pink. It's what I used for those guys, and it is an absolutely spectacular color. And this cording is so easy and nice to macrame with. I really, really love this cording. Now you can fit check beads over this cording, and you can also fit size 11 seed beads. Yes, yes, yes. So that's important with a micro macrame kind of design, because you need a cord that's small enough to fit the small little pieces you might want to put onto your piece. So this is the first one I used, and I used some really cool beads. These are Miyuki Opaque Pearl Watermelon Delicacy beads. And the combination of these two is really fantastic. So it's a bit monochromatic, which I've got a little monochromatic show I'm cooking up for a future date, but this is a really cool look. So you've got some sparkle, you've got some bright neon, and the two of these things work really well together. So that's how I put this one together, and I put it together on the tying station. I promise you I'm going to show you that. But this is one example of some earrings that you can make. Now, these are wild and crazy. Diane says she loves pink, and that says, ooh, pretty. I'm glad you guys like those. So this is a fun one. So this is kind of a super long bohemian fun piece, earring. And I did this with a purple cording. This is also S-Lon. And this is a nice deep purple. I think we might work with this one today because it might be the best for you to be able to see it while I work with it. This is gorgeous. Purple's having a moment again. So this color purple is really, really beautiful. Oh, thank you, Diane. Thank you, Santa Barbara girl. So this purple I used with a couple of different seed beads, and the lighter ones are a size 11 Toho round, and they are a perma finish, and they're absolutely spectacular. And then you can't really see them because it's super monochromatic, but there's actually a couple of a different color interspersed in there as well. These are also available today. They're size 11s, and they have kind of an AB finish on them. And I think what they're calling them is Rainbow Rosaline. So these are really cool. They look really cool together. And when you bring in this cording, it's such a beautiful combination. So I fell in love with those, and I thought, let's make something really fun. And I created these little wild drapey dangles. The cording kind of naturally drapes like that when it comes off of the design. But yeah, I did a little bit of beading at the bottom and some more fringe. Now, always keep in mind, you can make these your own. This might be a little too wild and crazy for you, but maybe you want to make an earring that's just simple like this. And we're going to make a very simple one today so you can see how easy it is and how fun it is when you use this tool and you use this cording. So I don't have ear wires on these yet either, but they're fun. I love these. I cannot wait to use these. Susan in South Florida, what is perma finish? You know, technically, I don't know what it means technically, but I believe it's a finish that's on the bead to help protect the color and the shine that's on the bead. It's one of the lines that Toho makes. So maybe someone can actually help and provide a little bit of more detail of that for us during the show. Maybe Michelle can tell us. Thank you, Michelle, for being here. So this is an example of something really wild and crazy. So I'm going to set my samples aside, and I'm going to set this aside for 1 second because I also want to show you this. So I've been playing with the tool, just kind of getting myself ready to go for today's show. This is a piece that's probably a little longer than what I would do for an earring, but I wanted to show you how you could also use this technique for a bracelet. And so you can just keep going the length of a bracelet that you'd like. That's the beauty of this tool, is you can go and make up to a 10-inch piece. and you can go short for just a couple of inches, and these pieces enable you to do that. So this one, really cool. This is, actually, we're going to use this cording. This is really pretty. This is a nice soft pink color. This is also Superlon S-Lon. It is a gorgeous color. I felt like this is the kind of pink that carries you into fall and winter. It's got kind of that cottagey, antique-y kind of look, and it's just super pretty. So I used a couple of different seed beads with this one. I'll show you. I used some silver. So trying to get a little bit of a silver metallic. These are galvanized silver Delica seed beads. They are Miyuki, and they're beautiful with this color. And then I've also got some Miyuki watermelon Delica seed beads. This is the color when they're all in the package together. They are so pretty. So again, a little bit monochromatic. And if I show you the detail up top here, I've got some knots. I've got some silver seed beads, and I've got like these little curves of seed beads. So when I talk micro macrame, not only is the cording small here, but we've also got those small beads. And when they're all together like this, they're kind of magical. So I feel excited about this project, and I wanted to show you what something I've been working on looks like on the actual tool. Now, I'm going to show you on the one that we started with how to get our project started. And let me find a spot to set this down because my table's pretty filled up here. So the way that you can do this, if you want to make a smaller piece and save on some of your cording, is you can move this bottom piece up, and you can work from the top, and you can just work within the confines of this space. Now, I kind of like to be free and easy and have a lot of freedom to move my hands around and not be in a confined space. So it means I'm going to use more cording, but it's okay with me. I just am more comfortable with that. But know that you can adjust these ends to your liking, and you can save cording and not have to cut so much cord from your packaging. Most cording that you can get is fairly affordable. So if you're picking this S-Lon out, you can get a spool of this for a pretty decent price, and you've got so much available to you for so many projects. I did add a few other colors into the show, some that I'm not using, but some that I thought might be interesting for you guys. And I did see that one was sold out. So sorry about that, guys. Because the show was supposed to air last week, we probably had more last week. But anyways, this is what I'm going to work with because I did pre-cut a few pieces of this. So let me tell you about the pieces I cut. So I always cut 2 pieces of cord. One that will be the core of my piece, whether it's a bracelet or earrings, and one that will actually be using to macrame, so to do the knots. So I cut 2 pieces, and for this one, again, you can move this and use less if you'd like. Just to tell you what I did, my inner strand is, 22 inches, and the outer is 29.5 inches. So what I do, let me set this aside just for 1 second. Let me get the seed beads out of the way so I don't get them all over everywhere. Sorry about that. So first I got to determine which piece is the longest. This is a little hard to show on camera, but I'm going to show you what I do. So I take the two pieces, I find the ends, and this cording wants to stay curly. But when we start working with it, you'll see that's not going to be a problem for us. So I'm finding the end of my longest piece, and I've got my loop up here holding on to that. And then I want to grab my other piece and find the center of that one. And I'm going to hold on to both of those loops, okay? Then I'm going to do something a little bit different that I didn't for my couple of examples that I started with. And I'm going to pull out a jump ring. And I'm going to string on this jump ring onto both cords. So this is a little tricky because one cord's a little bit longer than the other. So let me pop that through there. And let me pop this one through as well. And this will also help you get to that center point and kind of tell you where you're at with your cords. So I'm sorry I can't show you the whole entire process here, but oh man, I just lost my other cord. All right, let's put this one through again. All right, so I've got both cords in on this jump ring like that. Okay, so I've got my pieces on, and what I want to do is knot the cording onto this jump ring. So I'm just going to do a little bit of an overhand knot, and I want to make sure I get all 4 lengths of the cord, now it's 4, into that knot like so. And then I'm going to grab my beading awl. So this is a tulip beading awl. And I want to, oh yes, Deb this is a hard project to show on camera, folks. Just saying. It was a little ambitious on my part. Probably the project would have been, easy peasy for me when I planned it because I was all set to go for it before I left for Bead Fest. Anyways, so here we're going to create this knot up towards the jump ring. I want it to get right up next to the jump ring, and I'm going to tighten it with my fingers like that. So I've got my little jump ring attached, and what I want to do, this is the way I do it. You could probably do this a little bit differently. If you find a different technique that you like, but we have to attach this to the top of our tying station. So I'm going to unscrew these guys, take off the washer, get that guy off of there, and then you can remove this plate. And then this does not fit on here, and I want to make sure that my piece is in this section. Now I could move this down. I want to give you guys a good view, and I want to have plenty of room. So what I do is I take a piece of cord that is too short for anything else that I've saved, and I hold on to these, have them in a little bag next to my work table here, and I'm going to put that cord through the jump ring here, and I'm just going to tie just a little knot up here. Just put a little knot in it. You want to have this create a loop for you. So you want to have a loop like that. This is the way I do it. There may be folks that do this differently, but you see what that does is it extends my piece down. So here's my jump ring, and here's the start of my cords. So I'm going to put this back down, and I'm going to tighten this up. And oops, this is just a really quality tool. It really gets your cording nice and tight, so it's not going to slip. And now I've got the top portion secured. Now, what I need to do is figure out in this handful of cording where my core cords are. So I want to take my longer cords and pull them off to the side I think I've got my two shortest ones here. Pretty sure I do. Can't show you the whole length of it in the shot, but this section, these two shorter cords are going to be attached down at the bottom. So let me unscrew this end. And again, you can move this up if you're more comfortable doing that. And then you're gonna put, I know that's probably not completely in the shot, but bear with me a second. I'll give you a view of it. I'm holding tight to the cord down at the bottom as I secure this other plate. I can get that guy out of there, trying to get away from me. All right, so before I completely tighten it up, I'm gonna pull hard on that cord, and I'm gonna hold my plate into place, and then I'm just gonna screw that down tight. And now, so here's your other end. Here's this end with our jump ring and our little excess piece of cord. And look, I've got a nice tight core to work with. So we're gonna be knotting around this cord. And what I always like to do, one last thing, is get my cords in the right space. So pulling these two to the side, your longer pieces to the side, you're going to be working with these pieces of cord to do your knots. So let me see what comments I'm missing out here. Susan says, what size jump ring? This is a 6mm jump ring that I used. You could use whatever size you'd like. If you go any smaller, you might have trouble getting the cord through, but you might be able to use a 4mm. And, oh, Michelle, thank you for adding some jump rings. I did not add jump rings to this project, so I apologize. And hello to Teresa. Okay, so we're going to do the simplest of macrame knots. We're going to do square knots. And if you've ever seen anybody do square knots, you know that you can do kind of a half square that will make your macrame kind of spin. You could most certainly do that, but today we're going to do a complete square knot, and I'll show you how I do that. So one thing I like to remember about square knots is D and P. And I think about Dr. Pepper when I hear D and P. So when the first knot that you're going to make, you're kind of making a D, a small D. So here's the D, right? And we'll go around and do the P next. So you're going to create this loop with your left cord. Then you're going to take your right cord and you're going to put it over the top of this cord. And you're going to put it under and up through that loop in your D that you created. And then you've got what looks like a nice little loop here. So I'm going to come up here and show you that. And then I'm just going to pull that tight. And I like to pull my cords nice and tight, especially for these micro macrame projects. All right, so now we're creating a P. We've got our loop here, and here's the bottom of the P. Could be a large P, could be a lowercase p, but it's a P. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to take our other cord from the left and we're going to pull it under and through the loop of our P. And now we've created a square knot next to our basic knot that we use to attach our jump ring. So it might be a little tough to see because it is a micro macrame. And I'm going to do a couple more of these knots. So I'm going to do a small D and create my knot. I'm going to do a P. And now I want a Dr. Pepper. So I've got another knot. Let me show you this in 1 second. I like to do kind of doubles or trios of knots depending on the design, but that's the thing, is you can do so many fun designs once you learn how to do this technique. So let me show you up close. That is our trio of macrame knots. Diane, I was not able to do this easily until I started using this tool. And I'm absolutely serious about that. This tool really helped me. Now I'm paging Dr. Pepper. Yes. This tool really helps me to be able to do this easily. And it is easy and it's very zenful once you get going. So here's the hardest part. And we're going to do a few more knots. I'll show you. We're going to add seed beads here, and I'm going to use silver because they're probably the easiest for you to see. But this is the hardest part. You've got 2 cords on either side. We're going to be putting beads on these cords as we go. So that's the challenging part. And you guys might be cursing me once you start doing this because the seed beads, it takes a little bit of effort to get them onto the cord because they're tiny. But the thing about this S-Lon cord is it doesn't fray at the ends. It doesn't really give me a hard time unless I really mess with the cording end a lot. So I just kind of keep my hands away from the end until I actually need to touch it. So I've strung on 3 size 11s and they're sitting up here. We're just going to set that down for a second. And then we're going to string on seed beads on the other cord. So I'm just going to create a little pattern here of 3 seed beads. And you see, guys, it's going on they're going onto the cord, no problem. This cord, and if you do find that it starts to get frayed a little bit, you can trim off the end. What is Diane saying? Can you use that cording on the Beadalon loom? I have not tried it on the blue loom, but I have tried it on there's some wood looms that are available out there from the same inventor, Jules Avalar. She designed that blue loom for Beadalon. I have not tried this on that loom. Maybe someone has tried it and could tell us. So here you go, guys. We've got our beads strung on, and I'm going to do another series of square knots. So with the beads up there, I'm going to create my D again. I'm going to take my cord on the right and I'm going to pull it under and through that loop. And because I've got beads there, I'm going to be a little slow and create that first knot. And you see the cording creates a little bit of a channel in between those beads. Then I'm going to take the cord on the other side. I'm going to create my P. And because the cording is a little curly, you'll just have to make sure you're picking up the right piece of cord. And you see it's got a nice little loop around that cord. And then I'm just going to pull it tight. So I've got those beads secured. So you can still kind of push them up a little bit if you'd like. So in my purple design, I actually pushed up my knot to make those beads a little more loop-ish. Is that a word? Loop-ish? Circular. So this is just a fun little nuance. You can keep them straight to the cord if you like that. I did that in this design. So they're a little flat to the center cording. So it's just, a little nuance, a little change. That's just showing you there's so many ways that you can do this. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do a couple more knots. That's just another way that you can design your Micro-Macrame earrings. All right. So I'm going to do another D and then another P. And remember, you're just going to take that other cord, push it over and under and through. It's kind of the way I think about it. So I've got 2 knots now. Show you what that looks like up close. Right underneath that beautiful loop, little circular set of beads. And then I'm going to create another knot, pull that tight, and come around and take my cord, put it up through my P loop, and tighten that up. So look how pretty those little knots and seed beads look together. It's just a little bit of fun detail, and maybe folks that aren't seeing them close up wouldn't think that they were super exciting, but once they get up close, they say, wow, look at those detailed earrings. Let me see what comments we have here. Pam says, could you use a 3 or 4 millimeter crystal? 100% yes. In fact, I toyed with the idea of doing an example with some beads too, but because I was staying with the micro-macrame theme, I thought I would show you the possibilities of small knots and small beads together. And I know you all that like stringing are hearing me use seed beads a lot, but seed beads are a vital part of creating jewelry. So I've got 3 more beads strung on either side, and I'm just going to do another knot. So I've got my beads on, I've got my D, I'm going to pull that cord underneath, and I'm going to pull it up carefully and then tighten it up because I've got the beads there. And then I'm going to take my P loop, take this cord over and under and through that loop and pull that knot up. And then I'm going to take that knot and push it up just a little bit so that I'm creating that fun little accent of those beads. So making them a little loopy on either side. Then we're going to do 2 more knots. And this is just such a simple process. Once you practice, I swear, once you practice one time, just get out some cord. Don't even worry about the beads to start with, and just do knot. You will find your rhythm, and you'll find how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to feel when you do this. And you will love it. It's so meditative and relaxing. And then you can start adding beads and all kinds of fun things to your project. And you're just going to find you're a little bit addicted to this. I could sit and do this all day, to be perfectly honest. So here's my little trio of beads, trio of knots, and you could do a couple of knots between. You could do 1 knot between. You can do whatever you'd like. You can add those bicones as we talked about. Nancy says micro-macrame ankle bracelets would be pretty too. Yes, I'm all about the ankle bracelets. So you could just create all the way the length of this and then add a clasp to it. It's fun. Let's see. Can you use the T-pins and a piece of board to practice? Yes, absolutely. So I said at the beginning that I just found that wasn't good for me. I got frustrated easily. I felt like I didn't have enough control over all of the cords. And especially when using kind of small pieces like this, I found that it was really challenging just to use a board and pins. But you could certainly try that out to see if you like it. And then if you want to move up and try the tying station, the tying station will revolutionize your macrame knotting. So, all right, I'm going to just do this next set of beads and then 3 more knots, and we're going to finish this one off, and I'll show you how I do that too. All right, so I'm going to hold my beads up there. Then I'm going to create my D, get those out of the way, and I'm going to pull that cord over, under, and through that loop. And with the beads there, I'm just going to be very careful that I don't grab one of the beads. You can very easily get your bead caught up in the knot, or a bead caught up in a knot. And then I'm going to just give a gentle little push to make my little little, you know, loopy beads on the sides. All right, I'm gonna do 2 more knots. I'll go slow again. I could probably put this up on something to show you a little bit closer. Let me see if I've got something that will work. I have my Beadalon box from this. Let me see if that will get us a little bit closer so you can see a better shot. I know that's not the best background, but got my D over here, taking this cord, I'm pushing it over, under, and through that loop and pulling on those cords tight. Then I'm going to do the same. I've got a P over here. I'm going to take this cord, I'm going to pull it under and through that loop. And you'll see this lovely little shape that it creates around your core. And then you're going to pull that tight and it starts to look like knots. The first knot always doesn't look to me very finished, but when you get the second knot on, it looks good. Like it starts to look like something. So you've got your detail on your knots. So let me just get this last one and I'll pull this out of the shot. And here's what our piece, our little earring looks like. This is going to be a short one, so a little bit less dramatic than these guys, which by the way, I love these, but they're not for everyone because they're really long. So that's our finished design. Now, let me see what comments I'm missing here. So Tina says, I put a bead on the core cord and slide it up a flower with a seed bead. Yes. So that's another thing you can do. And we can do another project like this later, but you can also load beads onto your core. So the thing about that is because you're secure at the bottom here, you'll want to load your beads first. So you'll need to know how many beads you're going to add, how long your piece is going to be, whether it's a bracelet or earrings or an anklet. Know how many beads you're going to need. Now you can still add them, but if you don't want to mess up your mojo of how this is all set up, you'll want to add your beads onto the core and then tighten them and push them down to the bottom. And maybe guys, we can do another project later on this in a different show, and I'll show you that. So I push my beads down and then I'll push them up and work around them from there, creating the knots that I need to make from there. So you would have them sitting down here and push them up as you need them. And you could put a bead where we've got a void in our little circle here. So it would make a little flower. It would be super cute. So, the sky's the limit on how you design these. So I'm going to show you what I do next. And what am I missing? Santa Barbara Girl says you could take these macrame pieces, loop the piece to make a hoop earring. Yes, Santa Barbara Girl, that was something I was thinking about the other day, and I might try something like that myself. And Tina says, I love it, Deb. Thank you, Tina. So I'm gonna take off this end, and I'm bumping up against the edge of my available space here, guys. So I'm sorry if this part is in the comments, but I'm gonna pull out my core. And actually, you don't even really have to take the end all the way off. You just need to loosen it up to get that the cores out. And then I've got this end, and I have to take this all the way off. So I'm gonna pull out my little piece of cording, and I'm sorry for the little metal noise on the table. So we're gonna get that guy back on. And I'm gonna pull my tying station out of the way and set that down. And this little piece of cord can come off. So I'm gonna grab my scissors, cut that cord off. And now I've got this really fun little earring design. And I've got these long tails left. Now this is too much cord. You probably wouldn't want to use this much cord for this small of a design. So again, you'll want to adjust your tying station probably in both directions. Move those two plates down and up so that you're not using so much cord. But for the purposes of sharing with you guys, I wanted to give myself plenty. So I'm going to cut some because I don't want to have to play with all of this to finish this off. So what I like to do is just kind of hold it and then get it to a length I like. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to cut off the excess to start with. And this is all going in my scrap pile for a later date. And what I want to do first is secure this piece with just a regular like overhand knot. So I'm going to take this, the cords, and I'm just going to create a knot. And I want to make sure I get all 4 pieces. So I've got a knot like so. And then I'm going to push down up against my last knot and pull tight. So I've got a nice knot up top and a nice knot down at the bottom, and all of our pretty macrame work and bead work in between. So I love this. I think this is a fun little design. Now, let's see, what Santa Barbara Girl, have lots of fun. Diana posting the art beads group. Can't wait to see your project. So I missed that previous comment. So what you can do is a lot of different things here with this bottom. So you could, first of all, snip off the ends completely. So your design would be just this little column piece. And I would drop a little bit of glue at the bottom. So I would probably use GS Hypo Cement here. So I'd drop a couple drops at the bottom. But you can create some fringe. So we did a couple different things, or I did a couple different things for my samples here. So I created these fun fringy pieces, and you'll see when you pull this cording apart, it is very wavy and fun, almost like how we used to crimp our hair back in the 70s or 80s. There's probably the 80s. Dating myself. But this is one look that you can create. You can also leave the cording intact, attach beads, and create a little fringe at the bottom. Or you can leave your cording just, all by itself without any fringiness. So again, there's so many different ways you can do this. I'm going to show you a shorter version of these. So I'm going to come in now that I've got my knot in place, and I'm actually going to cut the length that I want. So I'm going to come in, cut off my cords, and it's okay if they're not perfect. And now I've got some more excess to work with. I'm just going to put that in my recycle area. And now I've got a little bit of fringe, and okay, you could stop here, right? You could stop here and leave these little pieces like this. I'm going to show you how I do the fringe, and I need to grab one thing to be able to do that. So bear with me. I've got my little recycled cardboard here. And I put a piece of cardboard down because I am working on a wood surface. I don't want to completely scratch it up all the time. But I've got my tulip beading awl. This is one of my most favorite tools. Today I'm working with two of my favorite tools, this one and the tying station. And all I want to do is get in here and grab the cord. And this is hard to show, but I'll get you close up in a second. And I'm just kind of pulling the threads apart and giving it that little curly look. So see how when you pull that cord apart, it's got a really nice fringy look. So you're just going to come in, and you can start your fringe anywhere you like. It doesn't have to actually be up towards the top. I'm going to do that And it is a little tough to get in there to get started. So it's probably hard for you to see this, but that's what you're doing, is you're just getting in there and pulling that all through it. You could probably do this with, you know, thick piece of wire as well. So, and I know that there are also some people who use like a brush of some sort to do this. And of course, when I do it on camera, it's the hardest. So there's some fringe like that. So fun. How many strands does S-Lon have? So I don't know textbook wise, but I think it's 4. Well, it's actually more than that because you could shred these down further. I'm kind of getting them into the core. I think it's like a 4, and then you can go further beyond that. But I don't know if that's something that piece of information is available, but we can see if we've got that. So just shredding that guy a little bit more, seeing if I can get into this one. It's hard, again, to get in there to the first cord, or the first time into the cord to get it started. Kind of got to use your muscles to get in there and get it. There we go. And let me get that last one, and then I'll show you what I got. So this is just fun. You don't have to do fringe. Like I said, you could put beads on the cord and just tie a little knot at the end. You could trim off the excess cord completely. There's so many things that you can do here. So this is, I would probably play around with this, get it a little more refined. But this is just such a fun earring. Now let's just finish one with a cool ear wire. So I put some fun ear wires in the show as well. One of my favorite ear wires is, this one is a 21 millimeter long, 20 gauge ear wire. And it's got a really cool, like almost an oval loop on it. And the hook is going backwards from the earring. So let's use this one. This is kind of the right length. You might want to change, you might want to do something, you know, thinking about how long the design is. You might want to think about how long your ear wire is too. So just to be mindful of that. All right, I'm going to open up that ear wire like so. And then I'm going to take my jump ring and drop it onto the ear wire, close that guy up. Closed up nice. And then we've got a fun little kind of bohemian style micro-macrame earring. And I think this is so fun. I'm actually going to put on one of my longer pairs. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to take, those are probably a little bit too long. I'm going to put these on. So I'm going to put some ear wires on these. I've got some really fun ear wires here. These are balloon ear wires. So they've got a really fun look to them. Let me get all these other tools out of the way. So I'm going to open this guy up. And here I did not use a jump ring. So you can just create a loop of your cording if you don't want that jump ring look. And you can make that loop up top as long or as short as you can actually get it. It's just a matter of creating that knot up top on your project. So I'm going to put these on here. And then close up the ear wire. Now, another thing about long ear wires is, or long earrings, is some people don't like long earrings because they're heavy. Well, guess what? These are not heavy at all. You probably won't even notice you're wearing these. So my suggestion is if you want to wear long earrings that work and don't weigh down those earlobes, these are fantastic for that. So, so this is just a fun little great project, easy macrame. So these are just the easiest macrame knots that you can do. And using this S-Lon Cording is a great way to get started. If you want the more micro look, because this cord, you saw I didn't fight with getting the beads onto this cord. Some cording is a little tougher than that. So this S-Lon is great if you're a beginner and you really want to get your hands dirty and make some fun macrame earrings. Thank you so much, Santa Barbara girl. Thank you, Diane. So I'm going to flip my camera around. I'm going to take off the earrings I made 2 shows ago. Take off these. These were from the silver and gold boutique style jewelry show I did a couple weeks back before Bead Fest. You can go back and look at that one if you'd like. Those were fun earrings. And I'm going to flip myself around here. Okay, so these. Super fun. So my shirt maybe sort of matches today. We'll see how these look with them. If I can get them on camera. All right, we'll try this one first. Okay, there's one. I love how that looks. Actually does kind of look good with this shirt. So this will be my earring of the day here in the studio. So those are fun. Really, just the detail. These look very monochromatic, but the sky's the limit, guys. Get yourself some cord, get yourself some seed beads, get yourself some small beads, maybe some bicones or some small fire polish, and cook up some macrame earrings, some micro macrame earrings. I think you'll have fun doing this. I hope you guys will give micro macrame a try, the S-Lon Cording a try, and the Beadalon Tying Station is fantastic. And this is very zenful and fun, and yeah, so I hope you will enjoy it. Please, please, please don't forget to close out your carts and go and check out the Bead Fest videos. You can go see all of those fun things we did in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And stay tuned this week for some more fun shows. We've got Andrea tomorrow, Julie on Wednesday, Becky on Thursday, and Sarah Lovecraft on Friday. I'll be back next Monday. I've got something really fun and maybe a little spooky next Monday. So thank you guys for being here as always, and have a wonderful week. Go make something. We'll see you later. Bye.